Right. What's going on, guys? Happy Friday. It's already Friday. Wow, that is insane, Optimus. So here's some optimistic news for you. Something kind of just absolutely crazy nuts. Yesterday, the market just plummeted just so bad at 5:30 in the morning. Um, and that's one of the reasons why I'm always flat at 5:30 in the morning is because I've just seen the market just do crazy, crazy, terrible things at that time. Um, but here's the crazy part. So the market dipped like over 100. It was close to $150 on the SPY itself, and or the ES, I should say, and it went from like 36.50 all the way down to 35.04. Just terrible. That represents billions of dollars being transferred, and a lot of people losing money in their pension funds and everything like that. Only to have at the time that we started trading, and we predicted this breakout on the trade. You can watch the stream, and I'm gonna take a sip here. Mm. It's just so earthy. Just wanted to leave you in suspense there for a moment. And not only did we have a nice big rip off of that 35.04 off of that low of the day, but we also ripped way past the pre-market high. Yesterday was just nuts. Let's go ahead and dive into some of these charts because um, everything that ripped up, it basically gave back a bunch of those gains. But we did trade for almost $4,000 yesterday in less than an hour. We didn't trade for very long. We had to go early. So unfortunately, I was unable to trade that insane rip all day, but it's all good. Let's go ahead and dive into the chart and take a look here. That one. Let's go. All right. So here's what's happening. Here's what happened yesterday. Okay, so this was yesterday right here. And it doesn't look so bad now that you look at it from this kind of pulled out graph. Um, but basically, this was our pre-market high, and we kind of rolled a little bit. But then here at 5:30 in the morning or so, we just tanked. Where was that? Yeah, it was like right in this area. Um, in any case, this is where we're at on the stream. Uh, we saw this breakout happening right here. It's 3:45. This was the morning, right in there. Okay, so this was 5:30. This was around the beginning of the stream, right over here. Anyway, I guess it's actually the afternoon. Could have sworn this was the time we were trading. Well, now this is bothering me. 6 a.m. Well, either way, maybe I'm not going back far enough in the chart. Yeah, I wasn't going back far enough. This was yesterday, right here. That was the open. That was 5:30 a.m. right there. So it was just like boom, boom, and then it kind of ran these lows, and then we started trading right here, right as this breakout began to form, and we traded a bunch of this. We managed to get really green right in this zone here, and then we traded a bunch of this rip up, and then unfortunately I had to leave early yesterday and not take advantage of the rest of this move because look at this. This was over a 20-minute period. It went from 35.80s or 35.60s rather, and we just had green candle after green candle. This is on the 5-minute chart. So this is 5 minutes green, 10 minutes green, 15, 20, 35, or 15, 20, 25, 35. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Just 40 minutes of ripping. Um, By the way, my apologies about the math thing. I got to get more caffeine in me. I just woke up not very long ago. Ah, and I'm definitely needing some caffeine. So we did manage to hold some in these gains. Actually, a pretty substantial amount. Um, Definitely are pulling back a lot today, but I don't know. I don't think that we're gonna see a day ripping like we did yesterday. But if we're holding above this 3,500 level, then I think that we're doing pretty well. And then actually, we're even holding right at what the previous day high was, which was right here before it ripped. So it's not a bad zone to hold. But we do get the iconic super drop at the open um, that the ES loves to do. And so now we're getting kind of this, like, hopefully a turnaround at this point. Although right now it's kind of going to the downside. On the 5-minute chart, on the TTM, it's got some ways to go. We'd be looking for that yellow breakout candle for the beginning there. Switch over to a 3 because for whatever reason my 3 no longer sticks around for me, even though I save it there. On the 3-minute chart, you can see that we're beginning to trend back towards the upside a little bit. Not quite there yet. When I say trending, I'm talking about the TTM stacking, is what I really should have said, not trending. On the 3-minute chart, though, we went from 42 to 40 to 39 to 37 to now 35. So stacking up by a factor of 2 on the 3-minute chart, just pretty decent momentum. 1-minute chart, though, is actually looking, we've already got the cyan switch, and we just went from 6.9 to 7.7 to 9.4, no, 8.4 to 9.2. So we're still moving up by a pretty reasonable factor. I'd be looking for this 35 to act as resistance, which it clearly just did just now. And basically, we'd just be looking for a move up. This is looking a little bit more like an upside move today. Hey, what's up, Tiny? Glad to see you here. Oh, you look for the TCM video? Let me see if I can get you a link to it if you can't find it. Let me grab a link for it. I don't know how you couldn't find it, though. Maybe it's not keyword dense enough or something. You can always make sure to look for videos directly on my channel if you want to avoid the other stuff. One sec. How do we get? We'll start trading here in a second. There's the direct link to the TTM. Yeah, I totally overslept today. Water, coffee, all of it. The nectar of the gods. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. I think that we may have some trade ops soon. I'm not really basing today off of yesterday or off of yesterday's movements, which I never really do. Honestly, that's not my style. My style really is more like, yo, let's see what the market's giving us right now. We got this low here of like 36.30, and I'd be looking for potentially like a double bottom here. And let's take a look at where the volume weighted average price is. Okay, VWAP is right up here. I got way too many lines. I wonder if I can just remove old drawings. Remove old. Anything over 21 days. How about no? Well, there's a few drawings gone. So VWAP is here at 36.80, and we're down at 36.30. So we've got a good $50 to go in order to get back towards the volume weighted average price. That's a pretty sizable move. But I've been looking for a double bottom right here. We may have a little bit of an extra move though, like a, oops. There we go. We may have we may potentially go down a little bit lower, so we may not be done dropping. Yesterday's comeback could just be nothing less than epic. Was what yesterday's comeback was. Not just in our own trading, but in the market itself. We made close to $4,000 yesterday. I honestly think we could have made 10 if I stuck around. We made that in the simulator just for clarity's sake and transparency. We are not doing our evaluation yet at the moment. We've been refining the strategy that really would have worked actually right here, right in this zone. We've been refining the strategy over the last couple of weeks, last like 10 days or so, close to 2 weeks. I really want this strategy dialed in. I want to be able to A, take it to the evaluation, and B, make it teachable. So I want it to be something that everybody can kind of tap into, and everybody can kind of have that one strat that we rally around that is a little bit easier. Obviously, everyone trades differently, trades their own way, but it's helpful if you have a community that all kind of has some idea of what everyone else is doing. So. So, alrighty, kind of slow movement in the market. The volume's there, but not necessarily the rippage, so to speak. Okay, so I'll tell you what I'm looking for. So we kind of got a little bit of double bottom. This went a little bit lower. But I'll tell you what I'm looking for here. I'm looking for, first off, a yellow candle here to form on the TTM. I'm looking for that yellow candle to be associated with a green dot. You can see these green dots here. That means it's within the Bollinger Band range. So I'm looking for a yellow candle to form right here, just like one of these ones, with a green dot, just like one of those ones. And then I'm looking to go long and take that rip to the upside. This actually may be the beginning of it, but this is showing 6.2 to 7.7. So that's a lot of momentum that the TTM is predicting towards the downside. So one of the reasons why I don't take the trade until I see the yellow, even though there's this here, is because sometimes we'll get this like rip up and then it's followed by a massive rip down. So that's one of the reasons why. And I'm judging that momentum based off the number, which you can see, which is represented right in this line here. If I hover over it, you can see that we went from 6.2 to 8.6 or so for our current candle. And that shows that there is more momentum to the downside than there is the upside. Although our candles, like our chart is looking slightly differently, your chart is looking like we're going to flip around, um, and we very well could, but I would probably want to see something like this form first, where I'm seeing this yellow happen, and the reason why is you can clearly see it's kind of getting chopped out a little bit before ripping. So, so that's the first thing I'm looking for. The other things that I'm looking forward to associated with it to really confirm the trade move to the upside is this yellow 9 EMA exponential moving average getting above this 12 exponential moving average. So there's 9 EMA getting above this 12 EMA. And then even more so for a continued move to the upside would be this 12 EMA getting above this 26 simple moving average, that's SMA, and having all that cross above this 35 as well. So, um, so that's the kind of thing that I'm looking for right now. I don't see it at the moment. So right now I'm viewing that there's not really much of a trade, potentially a small little short, but we're so far away from the volume and average price that I don't want to take scalps and I don't want to take the shorts. I'm looking for a momentum swing that I can get in. I'd rather make $750 off of one trade than $125 off of one trade or $750 off of 10 trades. And the reason for it is like I'm just number one, I'm going to pay less fees. Number two, the price movement is more predictable for me. So that's why I'm going to be more focused on this strategy mainly above most of the strategies out there because, and that's not to say that I won't scalp anymore, but that's because I can follow the strategy for 10 to 20 ticks up, and you can make $750 for a single trade. Let's look at these green dots here. I think that we're going to switch to yellow now because we went from 11.5 to 11.9. That's not as nearly as much momentum as we were getting off these candles here. Remember, the strategy though is we wait until the yellow, even though I see it moving now. There's that yellow. This one actually ended yellow. Join the bid here. Looking for a 12 tick rip. Got it immediately. So that is 12 ticks. That's $750 off of one trade. This is why I'm using this strategy. The strategy is fire. And it works. Like you can see, like we're totally in like a bear market today, and in bearish movement. It doesn't matter. It's still working. All we're doing is waiting for this to turn yellow and joining the bid and looking to take about 12 ticks. I try not to take more than that, like even though this would have gotten me actually more than 12 ticks, but the reason why is because 12 ticks is within the range that this normally is. And the reason why I'm saying within the range is trying not to get the entire thing is because I'm not greedy. $750 in however long that trade was, 4 seconds. That's pretty dang good. Getting a little bit of a pullback here. So it went from 11.3 to 10.5 to 9.6. So what I'm doing when I'm reading these numbers is I'm actually measuring the momentum that is building toward an upward move. You can see we've also got this possible crossover here. That's for this 12 to cross above this 26. And I'm actually going to look for an entry here. Joining the bid right there. I missed it. It's too low. It would have been a nice trade. I would have gotten that full 12 ticks. too zoomed in now. I wanted to get the entry right there. I just missed it. It's annoying. Join the bid. Filled a little high. And my sell order is right at the 35. It's a little above it, slightly. I may want to actually go down a tick just to be at that 35. But we'll see. We got it anyway. Up 1,500 on the day off of 2 trades. So that means our average trade right now is $750. We've got a possible crossover happening. Definitely need to remove some of these old drawings, but they don't seem to want to come off unless they go and remove them individually. Plus, they are support and resistance lines that just kind of seem to continue to be there forever. All right. Getting a little bit of rejection off that 35, but it doesn't matter. It's continuing to push. And TTM now went from 9.1 to 6.725. That is a lot of momentum that is building up. 9.1 to 6. It's almost 3. That's huge. That's actually more than 3. 10.5 to 8.91 to 6.72. That's that visual impairment I'm fighting through. It's always very frustrating to deal with, but it's there. It is what it is. It is what it is. We're from 6.7 to 5.4. Still got a 1.3 build. And 9. Remember a little bit earlier in the stream, I said I'm looking for this 9, this yellow line to cross above that 12 EMA moving average. And they just did. So I'm actually going to join the bid here. Missed the entry. Gonna hit join the bid again. See if we can get in. There we go. And I'm looking for a pop back up. I think it was a little premature in that trade. 5.4 to 4.3. A little premature in that trade. For joining the bid. It was a little eager. Just because we saw the 9 above the 12 and we see the TTM stacking. I think it was a little eager. I also don't like that my sell order is above the 35 moving average. My sell order is pretty much at the top of these candles. So we need to actually come up for a retest of those candles in order for that to work out. And I think that I'm actually just going to take my profit. Up 18.1250 on the day. Off 3 trades. Took my profit around the 35. Looks like it'll probably push back up, but this is why I wanted my sell order right there at the 35. It was literally because the 35 acts as resistance before it acts as support. Good time trading today. Where are we at on TTM? Went from 5.4 to 3.8. Now we're at 1.97. That's looking really solid. Joining the bid here. Looking for a move past the 35 now. And basically looking for a retest of this wick. And we got it. Up 26.25 on the day. This strategy is incredibly profitable and incredibly accurate. Just absolutely insane. The predictability in the price movement using this strategy. I love this strategy. I discovered the TTM just over a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, and really kind of refined it in stocks. But when it brought it to futures, it threw me for a loop because it didn't work the same. Getting cyan switch now. Man, I wish I would have joined in that bid. Okay, now I'm going to be looking for the 50. This is green line here. I'm going to be looking for the 50 EMA to act as resistance. Okay, so I'll be looking for a bit, essentially range movement within this 50 and this 35. I'm basically looking for them to kind of chop out a little bit from the 50 to the 35 and then rip on past the 50. But we did just get the cyan switch. We went from 1.53 to current candle is 0.94. That's a movement of almost 2. What is that? 1.5, negative 1.5 to positive 1. That's like 2.5. That's actually pretty solid movement. And then now we're getting 3.0. So joining the bid here. Now I'm basing these bids, these trades, off of the momentum that I'm seeing building in the TTM. Now there's that 50 acting as resistance, and honestly, I should have listened a little bit closer to what I just said. My own self was that I was looking for the 50 to kind of pull back and range within this 50 and this 35. If this was the pullback, that would have been the actual entry point right there. I got too eager. This is a definite issue that I personally have that I'm working on. But TTM went from 1.0 to 3.0. Factor 2, that's a lot of momentum. Really, I'm looking for anything above 0.7. So if this number adds up, the next number adds up to higher than 0.7, I'm likely going to take that trade. So it went from 1.0 to 3.2 to now 4.9. So that's a factor of 1.7. High probability we're going to rip up past this. I don't know actually though about my sell order here. I think I'm going a little too heavy. 3650 is going to act as resistance, I think. Just a guess. I could be wrong. But that's what I think is going to act as resistance. We do this 9 above the 12, and good divergence from the 26 simple moving average. I've been really dialed in, so if you guys are commenting, I can't get back to them at this particular point in time, but I will very shortly. Now I'm going to be looking for this 9 moving average to get above this 35. As these begin to cross, that's when this momentum that's building right now should begin to shoot up. So I'm waiting for that cross to happen, that 9 above that 35. We're beginning to get it right now. You can see it right there. And there it goes. It ripped up, actually kissed their sell order. I'm going to cut it and take my profit right here. Could have got the full thing, I think. Maybe not. Up 31.25 on the day out of 5 trades. Oh, wow. This is why I love this strategy. It's using a combination of moving averages mixed with the TTM, and we're using all of it together in conjunction in perfect harmony to give us predictions like this. We definitely could have got our full trade. Probably shouldn't have taken the profit. I think it was a little overzealous to take that profit. But look at that, just ripping right past 36.50, up into 36.52. And now here's our first pullback. Well, I guess this is a pullback here too. But TTM went from 4.9 to 8.4. Dude, this is nuts. Are we going to have another epic comeback yesterday, like we did yesterday? So from 8.4 to 10.0, and that's going to continue to push, I think. Got this hammer candle forming here at the top. Joining the bid yet again. Look for 12 ticks. Hands over the cover button. It's kind of frothy. Cover in there. Okay, up 33.75 on the day. And just going to check in with the comments. See how you guys are doing. All right, so up 33.75 out of 6 trades. No losing trades. So that's all looking great. That's all looking handy-dandy. And just checking in. All right, first off, Tiny, number one, I'm glad you're back. Had to make a fresh pot. Dude, me too, man. I only got like 4 or 5 hours of sleep, but you know what? Whatever. All right. You're inspirational. I basically died, and yet I am kicking ass where a lot of people would give up. Yeah. So if you guys don't know the story, if y'all don't know the story, I've been on life support at least 3 times in my life. Okay. I have been pronounced dead once, and I've been revived a total of 3 times. But the last time that I was revived was nuts. Okay, because the last time I was revived, I died for 40 minutes. 40 minutes. That's 40 minutes without oxygen to my brain. Uh, 40 minutes. My heart was not working. And so it was a very, very, very long time without breathing, without oxygen to my brain, without my heart pumping. And all I can really say is number one, thank you to my wife. I'm super grateful. She was there, just pumping, like doing the CPR, just boom, 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 bringing me back to life. And I think she actually fractured one of my ribs. Um, if it wasn't her, it was the paramedics. But then the paramedics. Okay, so check this out. All right, this is crazy because I learned this after the fact. All right, so they gave me 9 rounds of epinephrine, and like you can only give epinephrine a couple of minutes apart in order to get someone's heart pumping, and they do CPR in between. And they give me 9 rounds, and it's like 4 to 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes, something like that, in between rounds of epinephrine. And basically, they were pumping my heart each time that they would do that epinephrine for 9 rounds. Now, what I learned is they're not supposed to go past five, but for whatever reason, they kept doing it, and I'm really super grateful that they did. Because I woke up in the hospital a couple of days later. When I woke up, a couple days before I went blind, when I woke up, for like 3 days, everything was just like totally glitched out. Like clocks were like melting off the walls. There just was uh, like clocks were like melting off the walls. Like paintings were just like oozing down. People's faces were all contorted. It just was like, this ain't right. So something's weird here. And then when I spoke, I actually sounded like I was drunk. It sounded like I drank a fifth of vodka. Somebody dared me to talk. Um, but it just, yeah, it just was whack. The whole thing around. And the thing that actually did make me angry about the whole process was when I was in the hospital and I was unconscious. They gave me some sort of drug. I don't know what it was, but that drug that they gave me actually made me lose my memory for whatever happened during the events. And they had already given it to me, and they informed my wife of it. And my wife goes, "Ooh," like she said, her face just went, "Oh crap!" Like he is gonna be pissed. You know what? I was, and they're, no one wants her for remember these traumatic events. I'm like, man, I'm like, so what you're telling me is instead of me remembering what happened and being able to process it rationally in my own mind, I've got to now figure it out through dreams and random PTSD. So that's cool. Um, so that was the one thing about it that really drove me nuts. Um, yeah, exactly. I would want to remember every single thing that happened because the fact is they give you these drugs, like if you go through a traumatic experience like that, they give you these drugs that erase your memory for the time being. It's like a 48 hour, like, sorry, you don't remember anything at all. And it's weird. I don't know what the drug was called. I know I have it in my paperwork, so I can look it up. Um, but yeah, it was super crazy. And yeah, like a reset button, exactly. Um, but it was totally nuts, man. But when they did it, that was the one thing that made me angry because then I basically pieced it together through like dreams, and then like your memory kind of slowly comes back over months or even years at a time. So like I'll have something that like I am I can't tell as imagination or a memory. And I'm like, was that real? And then I'll like run it past my wife, and she's like, "Oh yeah, that did happen." And I'm like, "Whoa, that's weird. It's been like years." Um, And so, it's a very frustrating process, like putting those memories back together because you just have a hole in your hard drive. It's just odd. In any case, I woke up 3 days later. I went totally blind. I was completely blind for years. And during that whole time, I was just like learning everything I could about the brain and about supplements and trying to get my speech back so that my speech didn't sound like, and that's why you'll hear me occasionally stutter or stammer a lot. I actually used to be a public speaker. So, um, so having that sort of that stammer and that lack of that poise and stuff like that I used to have is sometimes challenging. Or you'll hear me mix. I just did it just right there. You'll hear me, or you hear me mix words together. So it's definitely effort, and sometimes something that I need to thinking about. Need to think about. See, I just said need to thinking about. Um, and so occasionally it does come up. But the vast majority of people tell me that they can't even notice it, and that's cool. I notice it, and so because I notice it, I'm like, I gotta get better. I gotta get better. I gotta get better because that's just the way I am. Um, but at this particular point in time, I've been on life support a lot of different times. So for anybody who's curious, what caused all that? Um, Number one, I have super life threatening asthma, and I've had it my whole life. And so much so to where they didn't even make drugs strong enough to fix my asthma or to like prevent it back at the time. All that stuff got better around the time I was like in my mid 20s. Was when the asthma field got a lot better. But when I was a kid in the 80s and 90s, like a lot of those drugs just didn't exist. A lot of that prevention just didn't exist. The way they treated asthma was reactionary. It's like, oh, you're having a hard time, you're almost dead now, so let's fix you now. So that's kind of like the way they treated asthma growing up. It's totally the wrong approach. It's more about prevention than anything. But that was the stitch back then. And on top of that, when I was born, I was allergic to everything under the sun, man. Like, and we'll get back to trading pretty soon. But right now, the market's just in a pullback. Um, you can see the strat that we were trading worked out really well, but it's kind of pulling back now. Probably gonna bounce off this 35, but I don't think it's quite ready yet. A couple more minutes. Um, so in the meantime, story time. So I was pretty much allergic to like everything under the sun, and a lot of those allergies I grew out of, with the exception of nuts. Now we were up visiting our in-laws, my in-laws, and they happened to bring home a like variety pack box of cookies from Costco, where it was like chocolate chips, and then one was like macadamia nut. And turns out I eat in my sleep, or rather, I used to, because I had undiagnosed sleep apnea. Sleep apnea does some weird stuff. Sometimes it can make you like walk around in your sleep and do like sleepwalking. Sometimes it makes you like eat in your sleep. Anyway, that's what happened that night. I woke up, I think anyway. I woke up, ate my sleep, and I ate those macadamia nut cookies. I have a vague memory of doing so. I don't know if it's a memory or imagination, yet again, because again, they wiped my memory. So that sounds so conspiratorial, by the way, but it is actually true. It's all in the paperwork. I can prove it. But and the nurses said it themselves. But so they did wipe my memory, so I don't have as much recollection to that as I would want to. Uh, but uh, but yeah, I was completely deathly allergic to nuts. I still am. Probably will be my whole life. That's okay. I don't care. Hopefully, it just doesn't take me out like it almost has many 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 times. And it's weird too because like you can you know somebody from the outside looking in is like, oh, just avoid it. I'm like, yeah, okay, but sometimes like there's almond milk in things and you have no idea. Or there's just like nut products in like just about everything. And a lot of things are processed with nuts and all of this different stuff. So it's actually quite the endeavor to actually attempt to avoid this stuff, which is one of the reasons why I stick to a lot of fruits and veggies. Um, Market's still continuing to pull back. Let's go ahead and look at this real fast. So market's actually pulled back past the 50 moving average and past 35. So that is that's it's not necessarily good in terms of a bounce, but we did get this double bottom here. And sorry to diverge from the story, but I want to make sure that we're keeping up with the market as well. So now we're beginning to get like ascending support. So I'm going to be looking for the same type of move, and what that move is going to look like here is I'm going to be looking for so we get this cooling on the TTM. I'm going to be looking for this to switch to red and then back to yellow. And then once it switches back to yellow, we'll basically just repeat the process that we did through here that made us over 3,300 bucks off of 6 trades. So again, guys, this is a simulator, and I'm going to take this strategy over to the evaluation soon. But I really wanted to trade it in every single market. So you said there was like low volume? Man, I'm sorry. I still not completely up on all the comments. You learned that you're a very aggressive trader. That's awesome, actually. What does the cyan switch mean? So the cyan switch, what that means is, let me show you here. The cyan switch means you can see right here the cyan forming on the TTM. So when the red switches to yellow, this is trade ops right in here. Now, right in this zone where this yellow and this cyan happen here, this is the cyan switch. So when it switches to cyan, that's where we go bullish for the moment, for the move. And you can see this is the power of the cyan switch. So this is where cyan switch happened. Then we get this little pullback, and then we get this super rip. So that's the cyan switch right there, is that super rip. So bounce off the 9, but it's also when the cyan switch happens, it's almost always a trade to the long side for me. Got a doji at the bottom of this. This could begin to turn around now. So yeah, that's what the cyan switch is. Yeah, so I also am a very aggressive trader, and sometimes I trade over aggressively. And patience is the biggest key to actually finding the trade that I'm looking for. Waiting for the better setups, super important. But when you find the ones that match your style, and you're an aggressive trader and you're going for swings, then there you go. Just wait for your setup and swing. It's better to take one trade worth 750 bucks than 10 trades worth 750 bucks. And the reason is because you're going to be paying fees along the way. So you want to avoid those fees if you can. Yeah, I also kind of see like lower, I would say lower volume as well, Tiny. It is Friday, so, but if you look down here, I've got this sort of like this average volume line that I've added here. And really it's kind of like right at it. We've had a few moments where it popped above it though, and the volume above it is what we're really looking for. Getting kind of a hammer candle near this doji. I do think this trend reversal will begin to happen soon. TTM went from -5 to -8, and we'll just be looking for that yellow candle and then moves back up. I think that's really just the strategy I'm just going to stick with. Just follow that strategy because it works pretty much any day except for choppy days. And you know what? We don't get that many choppy days. So honestly, I could just sit out on choppy days and just trade everything else. Yeah, cool. I'm glad you understand the cyan switch now. That's what that is. It's actually really powerful. So yeah, so to get back to where I'm at now, it took 6 years. Um, so it's it definitely was it's a lot of work, and I'm still working at it. Um, and honestly, like there's definitely like things I could have done to take care of myself better and heal better from the process. But at the end of the day, it's like, you got to give yourself some forgiveness in terms of like, well, I did a lot. uh so but there's a lot more I could have done. I definitely could have been much more adamant about taking my supplements. Um, like I have a very specific regimen of supplements that includes a lot of nootropics, and many of those nootropics like are designed around rebuilding different aspects of the brain, and they work really well, in my opinion, based off somebody who came from being completely blind. I can tell you that my doctors were like, "Yo, what the heck? You're gonna be blind for the rest of your life." I actually did have a couple of people tell me that I would be blind forever, and that I just need to get used to it. And I was like, "Yo, I don't know if I could blur this out here, but you can kind of guess what's going on." And that's what I said to them, or what how I felt about it. And anyway, and just like, you know what, I'm gonna go my own path. And in going my own path, that was the best thing I could have done for my health. Market's still pulling back some, so hence why the charts aren't up. Um, but but we'll get the charts back up too. So let's get this back up. And I like this one. I don't know why it puts me on the other one. Whoops. All right, there we go. Still waiting on the yellow candle, but you can see the TTM's kind of slowing on the red. This is what we look for. This is how we begin to judge and predict when a yellow candle may be forming. I say may because if I say going to, someone's gonna be like, "Yo, that's an absolute." Don't want to be like that. So we went from -12 to -13, -12.7 and -13.7 to there's a yellow candle forming right there. Let's see if I can get a little pullback here and entry. I'm actually going to wait for this candle to complete, which is in 20 seconds. So it might rip up a little bit. If it does, that's okay. And we miss that move, no big deal. I'm actually going to wait though for this candle to complete as yellow. And the reason is because we pulled back a lot. And so I want to make sure that we're like, you can see we almost gave back the entire move. So I just want to, okay, it finished, and we're getting a doji at this top here. Join the bid. Kind of missed the entry. A little late on the entry. So -13.3 to 12.5, -12.5. Going forward, 12 ticks yet again, which is right at that 35, which you can see it kissed it and kind of backed off a little bit. Taking our profit here. Made 375 on that trade. And if you wonder why I take my profits a little early, and I probably take them a little earlier than I should, but I'd rather secure the bag. I mean, honestly, that's more important to me than the than holding and then potentially just ending up in a worse spot. Almost at a badder spot. That would have been great, right? Okay, so it looks like our first trade would have worked out, our full 12. So we definitely could have gotten more on that. You can see the 35 acting as support and resistance. Right now it's resistance. We also, if you remember earlier, I talked about that we wanted to see the 35 and the 50 kind of converge. Let's go ahead and zoom in. I don't know if that ever happened. No, it didn't. It got close, but it didn't happen. So we may get that here, and if that happens, then we're going to have a high probability of a continued rippage to the upside. Now, TTM negative 13, negative 12.2, negative 10, or negative 11. So about a 1.2 build on the TTM. So that's looking pretty decent. This little micro pullback here. I'm going to join the bid there and actually look for the move up. From 11.0 to 9.5. So buildup of 1.5 on that. More of a pullback than I wanted to see. There's that 35 acting as resistance. Should have waited. I made this same mistake earlier in the stream, which you guys saw me do. Down 12 ticks on this so far. So you guys saw me make the same mistake earlier. So clearly I've made the same mistake twice in the same stream, which is essentially joining too close to the 35, not waiting for the full candle to kind of set its tone, not waiting for the whole pullback. And partially that's because it's just kind of somewhere from 11 to 9.7 to 8.3, 978. So it's like a 1.4 factor. I think that one of the reasons why I'm making that mistake is because I'm a little bit eager for the trades, I think, especially after I sit on my hands for a while. And then I think that the other reason why I'm making that mistake is that I also have FOMO that it's going to run without me. So I think that's why I'm making that mistake. And so I need to reflect on that. And then I need to eradicate that behavior, or move on from that behavior, I should say. So negative 9.7 to negative 8.1, factor of 1.6. 10 seconds left on this candle here. I got this little curling action going on. So I'd be looking for momentum to build here and pop back up. Also, I'd want to see this blue EMA 35 cross above that 50 moving average. You can see the 9 beginning to cross above the 12. This is an identical setup to the setup that we just traded over 4K today, which is great. This is probably one of their biggest winning days. So super solid week, by the way. This is why I'm using the strategy. It's just so profitable, man. And I definitely think that I need to make a refined video, one that is focused on futures trading with this strategy. This is a very similar strategy to what I use trading stocks, but it's modified from the way that I trade stocks. It's not modified by a lot, but it is modified by some. Enough to warrant a different video. Okay, now I'm going to be looking for ranging between this 50 EMA and this 35 EMA, and bounces off of that, which that's exactly what that was. That bounce right there, that would have been a perfect entry point. Let's see if there's a little bit more of a pullback here in the next 30 seconds. Getting a possible crossover as well. That's the 12 crossing over the 26. You can see how I'm actually using multiple strategies at once, and they're kind of like converging together to become one strategy. So it's like several different strategies merged into one singular strategy. Join the bid here. I think that's a nice pullback. TTM went from 8.0 to 6.11 to 4.4. A little bit more of a pullback off that, dropping below the 35. I don't like that dropped below the 35. We wanted that to hold support there, but so long as we hold support at the 9 moving average, I think we'll be okay. 6.1 to 4.4 to 2.2. So dropping 2.2 on the TTM, that's really good momentum building. Now I'm going to be looking for the cyan switch. Hopefully we get the cyan switch on the next candle. If not, be the candle after that. So 2 minutes tops. If we don't get that cyan switch in 2 minutes, I'm out. But I do think we got a pretty good entry. Our entry is like right at the 35. So I'm not too worried about that entry point. Obviously, we pulled back even further off of that and bounced off the 9 moving average, but that's cool. Got that trade. That was the full 12 ticks, the full $750. So we've taken 9 trades so far, over 5K today, 5187.50 today, and potentially another cyan switch on the way. So how is everyone doing there? Could I trade my strategy long and short? Yes, you can trade this strategy long and short. You can. It is a little bit of a mindset switch, though. So it's the exact same strategy, but you've got to flip it on its head. So I've done it short before, and it does work, and it does work at the same efficacy. But it's just a different mode of thinking for me. So it's kind of a brain. But basically, you would take the exact strategy and flip it around. So instead of looking for red to yellow, you'd be looking for dark blue to red. And then instead of basically all the moving averages being in the order that I search for them in for long, you just do the exact same order but flipped over. So instead of 9 above 12, you want 12 above 9, if that makes sense. And maybe I'll make a separate video, 2 separate videos, one for long and one for short. Okay, so we just got the cyan switch. It's pulling back up now, and honestly, I wish I would have got that entry point. Look for maybe a bounce off the 50. So where's the 50 at? 50's at like right there. Try and get in at 42. Nope, not gonna get it. It's running without me. Got a possible crossover happening and this brand new cyan switch, which went from -4 to 1.6. That's plenty. Joining the bid here. Brand new candle forming. Red pullback. Should have checked the time. Again, another mistake. That's 3 mistakes today. So went from 0.4 to 1.7 to 3.0. So that's a 1.3 factor. Man, that is a hefty pullback. Ugh, I don't like that. I may just have to cut this. We're already, yeah, I gotta cut it. Ugh. Ouch. Yowzers. That's why you wait for the brand new candle to form. Big mistake on my part, not waiting for the brand new candle to form because I didn't check the time. So that is 3 mistakes today. The first was all 3 of them revolved around being too eager. Every one of them. So I did cut this, but I do think it's going to come back. But because we went from 1.7, now that's only a factor of half, 0.5. So, and this is only 0.3, 0.4. So maybe it won't come back. It's just not enough momentum now. But that was a big drawdown. We got our peak of the day was over 5K. That's our first loss of the day. You hate to see it. Every time I take a loss like that, especially one that big, but every time I take a loss like that where I know that the reason why I lost was because I made a mistake in my approach to my strategy. Ooh, man, that's like a dagger to the heart. So, for the record, the mistake that I made was not checking the clock up here and seeing that when I entered into that trade, there was only like 3 seconds left in this existing candle. And so had I checked that clock, I would have said, nope, I'm going to wait for the next candle to form. And so I would have waited for this next candle and I would have seen this pullback happen and I could have avoided that trade entirely. But I didn't check the clock. So that's why. It's all habits. You know, part of it is the strategy itself, but it's also the habits that are included with that strategy. So again, we're trading all this stuff in the simulator for now.
and we'll be taking this strategy to the evaluation soon. But I really wanted to trade this in every market condition that it possibly could and put it through its paces because it's a modified strategy of my original strategy, which is the TTM squeeze that I use in stocks. And we tried originally taking that over to futures, and we were only trading the cyan switches. And you can see, even in like this circumstance here, that the cyan switch didn't work out as well. And in futures, now in stocks, the cyan switch super accurate. In futures, it's less accurate. What is far more accurate is the red yellow. So it's the same strategy. It's just I'm looking for the yellow ones more than I'm looking for the more than I'm looking for the cyan switch. But the cyan switch still is profitable. Just its accuracy rate is lower in futures versus stocks. If that makes sense. Still got a couple people chilling, hanging out. So if y'all hanging, you chilling, whatever, make sure you like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. It dawns on me that we have not talked about any of our sponsors, about anything. They're not actually sponsors. I wish they were sponsors. We'll get there one day. But we've not talked about any of the stuff that we are actually using here. And just so you guys know, I'm looking to earn funding here in Elite Trader Funding. These guys are awesome. They have great customer support, great customer service. That's super, super, super important. I actually won't work with a company. I'd rather pay more money and have quality customer service than pay less money and just have somebody just be like, you're out. I don't like you. I don't want to talk to you. So, these guys got great customer service. They're there for you. They're ready to help, and you can actually get funding all the way up to $300,000 right here. Boom. So personally, though, I think that the 50K evaluation is one of the best values in the market. It's very competitively priced, and actually, if you use the link in the description and the promo code that's included in the description as well, which is JSBest, you'll actually get a discount for life on this thing here. So all of your monthly billings, everything like that, will become significantly less. I want to say right now it's 25% off for life. You can take a max position of 8 contracts in the minis and 80 in the micros. For reference, I take 5 contracts of the mini currently. That's my main focus, is taking 5. I think it's more than enough. So that's what I do. This also gives you a $2,000 drawdown with only a $3,000 profit target. You guys can see that we've actually already made that ourselves, even with that fat loss here that was close to $1,500. I actually think it was a little bit more because we were up almost 5,200 on the day, and we took a fatty loss here. But you can see, even with that, these 10 trades was enough to actually earn that funding. And by the way, speaking of which, let's figure out our fees. So we're up at $218 in fees on the day too. 35, 62, 50. So whoops. 35, 62, 50 minus 218. Boom. So that puts us up 33, 44, 50 on the day. So look at this. It's like almost like a 4 bottom, like a quad bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, and just keeps coming around and finding support off of this 36.30, and then we're getting those rips off that. So now we're looking for the same thing. We're looking for. I'm gonna look for this to actually go red on the TTM, which it is slightly. And then I'm just going to look for it to switch over to yellow. Occasionally, though, you'll see these kind of pullbacks, and then they'll pull back to like a red, and then they'll just go right into cyan every now and then. And if they do that, that's usually... if they use that, that's usually a pretty good sign. So, but yeah, guys, check out Elite Trader Funding. If you guys want to earn funding in the futures market, they'll give you an account to trade with, and you can take 25% off for life off of any of the things that you see here, provided that you use that link in the description and that promo code. With that does also, I just want to make this clear, that does exclude the fast track evaluations because they are already heavily discounted. But if you guys purchase through the link in the description, it does help out this channel. And so we do appreciate that because it does help the channel grow, and any revenue that our very, very, very micro channel can do would just help us get better, help us improve our background, our audio, our lighting, all that type of stuff. Just reinvesting it all back into you guys. So, also, guys, we do have an amazing Discord group. It is brand new, so there's not a lot of people in there, but we do have a couple in there that are very active. Miss Tiny Trader is one of our star community members, and we love having you guys there. If you guys want to join our Discord group, it's just joelstraight.com/discord. But there's also a link in it in the description to make that a lot easier for you guys. Let's go ahead and jump back into the charts and see what's happening. We do have red on the TTM, went from 1 to, let's see, -1.7 to -2.7. I like this track. How did we get here? I'm gonna zoom out just a little bit. I just want to take a look at some of these. Do have the 35 that crossed over the 26 right here, right at that TTM zone, right when that science switch happened. So we do have that 35 crossing above the 26. Now that does give us indication that we may get another trend reversal. Excuse me. Because I actually didn't realize that we were in. This is another thing too that I could have potentially prevented on that science switch. I didn't realize that the 26 had gotten above the 35. There's a lot of factors here and a lot of things to consider, but that also may have been a factor in us not choosing to take that trade. But obviously the biggest reason why that trade failed was just simply because I didn't look at the clock. Because I just wouldn't have taken it. Getting a nice little build back up, although still red on the TTM. So we may still have some shorts out there. -1.7 to -2.3 to -3.1. It's a -3.2. So probably about to get a turnaround here. But wonder if I'll get to the point to where I can actually anticipate the yellow candles. Wouldn't that be awesome? Too good a possible crossover happening. Volume's a little shy. You can see the momentum slowing down on the red side. So that gives us indication that we may see a yellow very soon. It's not there yet. They're just joining the bid here. Entered higher than I want to, but don't we always? Okay, so I'm looking to get out now. Not right now, but I'm looking to get out on this trade at the 50. So I'm gonna be looking for a Zoosh up. I still want to see this 35 cross above this 50. That would really give us a lot more solid momentum to the upside. This is our very first yellow candle. We don't normally enter in on the first one, but I think it's okay because I think we have enough momentum behind this. A 35 would be a great exit point on this one too. I'm actually gonna just take that profit right there. Made 187.50 on that. I took that profit just because it's bouncing into the resistance at 35. I do think it'll pop up and hit this 50, but I can always get back in, and that's the mentality that I like to have. And see, look, we took that profit and we got this hammer candle pulling back. I do think this will pull up though, but right now it's kind of not enough momentum. Just because this yellow doesn't mean buy. It's not enough momentum, so I'm looking for momentum that's stacking, and you can see that this is actually went red, yellow, red, but with that yellow there, we were still able to take a nice little scalp. What I'm really looking for is momentum like this, where you can see this went from -10 to -12 to kind of like balanced out there. Then went from negative 13.7 to negative 13.3 to negative 12. So it's stacking up like a factor of almost one on each candle. And that's really what I'm looking for. Up 38, 12, 50 on the day. Several different strategies converging to one strategy defines algorithmic trading. Interesting. That's funny. I had no idea, dude. Honestly, man, I don't I don't really algo trade. I do have a crypto trading bot, but yeah, I understand that there's definitely um I know a lot of institutions be using algorithmic trading and whatnot, and I wish I could. But I am my own algorithmic trader. At least that's the hope, anyway. But yeah, it is several different strategies converging into one, and all those factors combined, uh, with the all powers combined, I am Captain Trader. Dude, look at the lighting, man. This like cup is like heavenly. It's like shoo. That is so cold now. Big pullback yet again, bouncing off this, like riding this area here. So pretty much in between this 36.25 and 36.30 zone. I think this is going to act as kind of the lows of the day all day. Who knows? It could just plummet again like it did yesterday. We've got a lot of divergence though, actually, from this 26 and 12. Like too much, I think. We may actually start ending up, yeah, the 35 just crossed under the 26. That's not good. Probably going to see continued movement downward. So this is much more like this section here. So what we're currently entering into looks more like this, where you can see it's like it begins to decline here, and you can see the TTM begins to stack against it, and then there's a little bit of yellow in here, so some trade ops in that zone, and then like this would be a dope spot to go short. Would be like right when it switches to red, and really like so you're asking about will the strategy work in short? And the answer is yes, but you really want to take these like these kind of things where it transitions from the blue or the dark blue into the red. Um, and obviously, this is not a recommendation. I don't recommend anything, but I'm just looking at the strategy overall. So you can see this cooling on the TTM right here, and like our short entry point would be right around right here, where the TTM is almost completely given up on the long side. And also the other thing that I'd be looking at in order to go short is this 9 moving average, this yellow line, to cross below the 12 moving average. That's a cyan line right here. So once that 9 crosses below the 12, then that'd be a place I'd be looking to go short. So one of the things that's cool about most strategies seem to work long and short, but it's just a matter of flipping them on their head. Seven to 8.1 to 8.6. Market's getting kind of boring. Just saying. So all right, guys. First off, I want to say thank you guys for an amazing week. It's been a truly fire week, trading through a lot of volatility, trading through some choppiness days. We had 2 losing days, 3 winning days. Our winners significantly outweighed our losers. Our biggest loss of the week was $2,000. But our biggest winners of the week was, I think, today, actually, which is 38, 12, 50. Actually, yesterday was our better losing day at 38, or our better winning day at 38.75. So between yesterday I made 38.75 and today at 38.12.50. I'd say the strategy works. We traded it for 2 weeks in the simulator on this strategy. I would say the strategy works. We traded it through last week, which was a very bullish week, and then this week, which was a very bearish week. And the strat worked in all situations with the exception of chop. It did not work in the choppy day that we had on Wednesday. And I think it would have worked if I was a little bit more focused. I think that we could have traded it better. But Wednesday, the fact was, it was just super choppy. And frankly, I probably just shouldn't have been trading. So we did lose 2K on Wednesday. That was the one time that was really, and then the other day that we had a losing day was also very choppy. So what I'm going to be looking for to avoid is any of the choppy days. If it's choppy, just got to make sure I follow my rules and not trade. Um, and yeah, guys, if you would like to join me on the journey next week of doing the evaluation, you guys can check out Elite Trader Funding. Next week we'll be doing the evaluation, and we've got you guys can join these guys here. Use the link in the description and the promo code JSBEST for a lifetime discount on any of the products that you see here, with the exception of the fast track evaluations because these are already heavily discounted. Um, but I personally think that the 50K evaluation, in my opinion, is one of the best values out there in terms of prop firms, especially with the promo code. It's very competitively priced. You can take 8 contracts, which is also very competitive. Most only allow you to take 5. Um, and personally, I only take 5 myself. But with a profit target of only $3,000, you can see how you can even hit that in a day. It's possible. $2,000 drawdown. And with that promo code JSBEST, you'll actually get 25% discount for life on this account. So when your rebuild comes through, it'll still be discounted. It'll always be discounted, and as long as you keep the account. So super valuable plan here, and yeah, guys, check them out. And on top of that, guys, go ahead and join our email mailing list. It's the very first link in the description. If you guys want to get emails from me, there is stuff in our email that we don't talk about anywhere else. Sometimes not even on this channel. So, so yeah, guys, make sure you join that, and we'll see you on Monday. I'm gonna go ahead and take off here, Optimus, and hopefully, I'll see you guys in the Discord group. So, yeah, I'll see you guys on the weekend, over the weekend in the Discord group, and we'll see you guys Monday. So we'll be here at 7:30 Pacific time. That's 10:30 market time, and as we are every day, Monday through Friday, and we'll see you there. Hopefully, we'll see you in the Discord group too this weekend, guys. All right, peace. All right, Optimus.